Happy New Year to you.
Oh, I like it.
Thanks.
To start our meeting, to start our public meeting tonight, we're going to be discussing efficiency smart energy services.
So thank you, Mr. President. Paul had traveled to the APPA conference with Jeff and I this last season, and we touched on a couple of efficiency programs at the APPA. He came back and wanted to share some possibilities for Painesville with the entire council, so I reached out to Efficiency Smart to come and do a presentation for you. So I don't know who I'm introducing first. Sean?
Yeah, we can take
Okay, all yours. Go for it.
So my name is Sean Clemens. I'm the Director of Operations for Efficiency Smart. We've been here tonight. Tom Coyle, who's our Director of Account Management, as well as Randy Corbin, who is the Assistant VP of Energy Efficiency from AMP. So Tom and I are going to share the presentation a little bit. So excuse our dance as we move up and back from the podium so that you get to hear from both of us. Tom's more charming, so you won't hear from me the whole night. So we like to mix it up. So tonight we want to share with you a little bit about the background of the program, some of the history, how it started, what we've done so far, some of the benefits of having this kind of program, and energy efficiency services available for the utility as well as for your customers, how we do the work that we do, how we deliver on it, some of the contract options that would be available should you become interested down the road. And really tonight, more than just questions, it would be great to have a dialogue about what you're interested in hearing, what you want to know, what your challenges are. And so as we go through the presentation, I would really encourage you to ask questions, stop as we go. We have, I think we have about an hour slotted for tonight. This presentation, we would hope to keep our part no more than 30 minutes. So we've built in plenty of time to have a dialogue, so I would encourage you guys to interrupt as we go. And we'll do our best to answer questions, and we'll have opportunities later to bring back more materials if they help answer questions and those sorts of things. My goal for tonight would be really to help you guys understand, what we mean by an energy efficiency program and why it might be a good idea, how our program works and how it might be different from one you might be exposed to with like First Energy, or if you've heard or seen anything of those. And again, hearing really about what you want, what you're wrestling with, and what you need to know. Throughout the presentation, there will also be testimonials and case studies. We wanted to include those in here so you can refer to those later and read them at your leisure. It's not very fascinating to watch us read testimonials. We've tried that. We're going to omit that from tonight's presentation, so we will just bypass those slides. The case study will just highlight the points that we feel can really help contribute to the conversation. So that's our approach.
All right, so as Sean said, we're just going to kind of talk about where we've been, kind of some of the things we've done, and then get into kind of the results we've had so far. So, Efficiency Smart is AMP's energy efficiency program. We just wrapped up our 8th year, so we're 3-year contracts. We're in our 3rd 3-year contract. We just finished up year 2 of this cycle. The program is based in Columbus. I happen to live in Kent. So I am the Director of Account Management, but I also actively account manage about half of the communities that are currently in the program. I work for BEIC. We administer the program for AMP. A little bit of background, BEIC is basically, we've been around for about 30 years. We work all over the world. We actually run the energy efficiency programs for the state of Vermont and the District of Columbia. And then we also consult on all sorts of renewables and transportation and all sorts of different things, actually all over the country and all over the world. So that's just a little background on us.
So these are some of the numbers of what we've achieved throughout our time in the 8 years of program history that we've had so far. Some of the things to really highlight here is we've saved customers of utilities that participate in our program over $240 million. And we've also reduced summer peak or incident peak by almost 32,000 kilowatts. So helps utilities with their capacity and transmission costs. We know those are rising a lot for folks, and it's something a lot of people trying to run municipal utilities are really wrestling with these days. We've always returned in our history more than twice the value to the communities of what they've paid in. So for every dollar they've paid in, we've returned more than $2 back within the time. Most of our programs, what we call our comprehensive programs, and we'll get to that a little bit later, have common guarantees that we are going to deliver on a certain amount of savings on behalf of your utility. And we will guarantee those, and in our history, we have met every one of those guarantees. And I think that number is now over something like 90 different communities guarantees. So AMP hires a third party to verify the work that we do and our calculations or the claims that we make of what we save, so that you guys know it's on the up and up. And we've so far, consider that a grade. Our grade so far on average has been a 97%. Because of the rigor of that, we're actually able to sell those savings back into PJM and actually generate revenue and send that back to communities. So it's a pretty cool byproduct. PJM is pretty soon my knowledge about this sort of subject will fall off. PJM is an example of what's called a regional transmission organization. They basically manage large chunks of the U.S. and help them ensure that the power is available to all the utilities and customers placing demands on it. And so I think that's the simplest version of an explanation I can give without exposing my own lack of knowledge on the topic.
Well, I'm sure Jeff could help you out.
No, that was actually a really good answer.
I haven't heard him talk for a while now.
I just do want to make a point of order.
Yes.
There is no conversation from the audience, so you can't ask questions. They're presenting to us. So if you want to write them down, I'm assuming if Paul decides again that your questions can be answered, then they'll do that. But at this point, it's strictly us.
But council members can't talk.
Yes.
No Jim.
Sure.
No,
There's a no Jim talking rule.
You did say you had 2 hours, right?
No Jim.
What time's your next meeting?
7:30.
6:15.
So we're talking a little bit about some of the benefits of the program, or benefits of energy efficiency. Actually, we'll start with that. So, JD Power and Associates, the commission is surveying and talks about why people want to have, why utilities want to offer an energy efficiency program. So basically, it comes down to people who pay a utility for their electric bill or their gas bill. When they know that there's an energy efficiency program, they think they have better, they perceive them as having better rates. They perceive them as being more customer service friendly, but the utility actually cares about them and is trying to help them figure out ways to manage their budget, usually at home. This slide talks about, and it's a little bit outdated, but it talks about how much, if you were building a new power supply, a new plant of these different types, what that would cost you on a $1 per megawatt hour basis. Solar has come down significantly since this slide was created, but it gives you an idea that when you're looking at a piece of your power portfolio, energy efficiency, and specifically efficiency smart, is the lowest cost way to get power into your portfolio.
So this chart takes some explaining, but I really like it, especially for people who don't like to stare at numbers as much and prefer visuals. So basically, this chart represents, in the colors, the amount of benefit returned to communities, and the black line shows the amount that those communities paid into the program. So in this specific case, we have this is an actual community that has participated in our program for 3 consecutive contracts. So they're just starting their 9th year. The blue bar there at the bottom shows the benefit they accrued in the first contract. The orange, the benefit in the second, and the green, the benefit so far in the third. And you'll see that by 2019 there, they've paid, according to the black line, about $1 million. But in that same period of time, they're benefiting from $3 million in savings at that exact same moment. And the other thing that this really helps to visualize better than historic numbers can tell you is you see that the savings are cumulative. They stack up like a staircase, and they keep going into the future. So if this community were to stop participating at this point and not renew in 2020, they would continue to have benefit every year at the full level until about, it's like 2024 or 2025, and they wouldn't see the end of the benefits until 2031, which is almost 12 years later. Because the technologies that we promoted to be installed are still yielding benefits long into the future. So this is a real added benefit that most other programs with power sources can't deliver, is the longevity and the sort of cumulative nature. So it also helps sort of visually to just imagine that if the area under the triangle is the amount that the community paid at the time of their contract participation, the amount in the area of the colored space is all the return on investment that they got, which is pretty massive. And again, some of the savings that are included in those three colors are capacity and transmission savings experienced by the utility. Sure.
So, go ahead.
Program cost, is that not capped at some point? Does that continue to rise?
It's,
And what is that defined as? Is there
Sorry.
a contract cost?
it's not actually rising. What this is showing is the cumulative cost. So they've paid the same rate every year. So it's probably $200,000-ish, don't quote me on that. And so every year they paid in 200.
So it's a cumulative
So it's
program
a
cost.
cumulative program cost and a cumulative benefit. So we wanted apples to apples. So, yeah, you're not paying an accelerated amount.
Like-
Thank you for asking. Great question. We're not paying an increased amount. And yes, there's a cap. What do you pay that?
Okay, so it's the contract, it's the negotiated contract cost
It will be a fixed.
per year.
Yeah, and we'll
That's
get into
fixed.
that later, but it's a fixed cost on an annual basis for a 3-year return.
Okay.
It's the basic principle.
And we sign up for a 2-year contract?
It's actually 3-year intervals for what we call comprehensive programs.
Okay.
All right.
So one of the benefits of the energy efficiency program is economic development. So that's both retaining your existing businesses and also attracting businesses to come in and Painesville. A lot of the communities that we deal with have told us that the Efficiency Smart program has proved to be the best economic development tool they have. We deal with a lot of small, medium-sized communities that don't have full-time economic development people. So for them, for the city and the utility to be able to do this and add this into their portfolio of services has been something that gets them to the table to help them get those negotiations move along further. We partner with local businesses. So we'll get in a little bit later about some of the things that we do both for C&I customers and also residential customers. But in those cases, we're trying to drive business. So if somebody's going to be buying LEDs or doing these, so they're doing it here, or at least in the county. So we want that because we know those dollars that are spent here and the dollars that are saved by people get reinvested locally. And whether it's a large manufacturer or the city or the county, those may not be the city or county, but a large business, if they can save money in their operating costs, they're likely to maybe give a pay raise or extend a little bit better benefits or just start hiring more people. There are just different things that can be done if we can help them lower their operating costs. So that's really something we look forward to, that we work really closely with the cities on. So an example of that, so large rubber and plastics manufacturer in St. Mary's, Ohio, in the western part of the state. St. Mary's has been in the program since the beginning, and this manufacturer is owned by a global company, and they were having these pressures, like this plant is cheaper to operate than we are. So they worked with us, and we had done some projects with them. We provide free technical services to them. So we've gotten involved, done all that. We actually sat down with them, went through their plant, and figured out low cost, the most cost-effective upgrades. And then we helped sell those ideas for them to sell it to corporate, getting the things that are the quickest return on investment, and they got them approved. What's ended up happening is they've gone back and told the city of St. Mary's, that they are now the glowing plant in the nationwide for this company. That the plant managers around the country are now coming to same areas and saying, how did you do this? What did you do? And so these guys are kind of rock stars inside of their own business. And it was simply taking advantage of what really is the free technical services that came, and then we provided incentives for the work that they ended up doing. This is a quote that Sean said, you've got it in your packet, that Greg Coxo is the Director of Public Service, and he talks about how this helps the businesses and helps the city of St. Mary's. Another example of this is Airstream, which is in Jackson Center. And so Jackson Center, another community that's been in the program now for 8 years. When the economy had its downturn, 2008, 2009, and Airstream was really concerned. People just weren't buying RVs, it makes sense. And so they took that chance to just kind of retrench themselves and do that. So one of the things they did, and it took them about a year to engage Efficiency Smart after we were in town. And we started working with them again, and we helped them identify projects, and so they made, again, the smart business decisions and the upgrades. They worked with us on those, and it helped them through those lean times. And now what's happened is they've been able to grow from that. Their largest, basically, supplier, which is their frame manufacturer, actually moved their production to Jackson Center from further out in the Midwest. Airstream's going through a massive expansion. They're doubling the size of their plant currently. And they talk about, again, the technical help and the things that where the city was able to build it, was they're able to help them during those times. It really helped them. And it's really that partnership that the local government has with the community. So Bruce Metz, who Monica knows, I'm pretty sure, is a big proponent of the Efficiency Smart program. This is a quote from him that talks specifically about Efficiency Smart and Airstream and that relationship and what it's meant for the village of Jackson Center.
So, we talked a lot about, in this presentation so far, about how, the the economic benefits of energy efficiency programs and what those kinds of projects can do for the utility and for the customers and how they save. But, a lot of where we deliver value in the community and on behalf of the utility is in the software side. It's not a numeric thing. It's in the customer satisfaction realm. So, a lot of the good work that Tom mentioned that we did with Airstream and in St. Mary's was done as spearheaded by our account management team, which Tom represents and runs as well. So those folks offer an extension. Either for some communities, it's their only account managers who are out in the communities. For some, it's a supplement to existing account management services that we may already have. Those folks are out there representing their utility and bringing a positive impression to those customers, as well as they at times can bring back very valuable information to the utility that they weren't aware of. And it can be really critical. We can learn that sometimes that people are considering moving, or people, some things, situations that a community may want to address before it becomes a critical situation. So it's a great touch point to have with your customers. And again, that generates goodwill, positive public relations. That happens in the residential side as well. The residents love these kinds of services. As Tom mentioned in an earlier slide, it just increases the perception of the utility. It highlights the value. Sometimes utilities are viewed as a tax, right? That I just have to pay for this thing. And yeah, we all appreciate having electricity, but we don't always, value that utility. This helps to actually create a really wonderful, valuable touch point so people feel good about it. And it highlights how you give back. We help people reduce their bills and their operating costs. And that's real simple, and it can be wonderful to benefit to those facilities. We'll help high bill customers. So if somebody has a really high usage bill in July, they don't understand why, they can call the customer support team, and we can help them walk through what might be the potential causes and help them figure out a plan of action to address that. Because obviously, Monica may have some sense of this, that sometimes those customers just feel like the utility has done them wrong. And actually, we can arm them with information that really helps them to better understand what's causing this and what they can do about it. And it's a good feeling. And again, these facilities who take the time to do projects, anybody who's replaced their HVAC system knows that comes with increased comfort. Safety, think of parking lot lighting, street lighting, sidewalk lighting, all increases safety and aesthetics. We see this, you do a lighting project, especially think in a restaurant or a store. I'll have an example of that later on. It's just really wonderful to highlight the work that they're doing as a very visual environment.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about specifically what Efficiency Smart offers in the comprehensive program. First of all, we work with all customer classes, so that's residential customers, it's small businesses, and it's your largest C&I customers. We, as I mentioned earlier, we partner locally. We're really here to do several things. We provide education to people, we provide expertise both on technologies, on specific products. We're there to kind of be a check to make sure people are investing in the right things. That I can tell you, I just had it happen today. I got somebody who's like, hey, I just bought these, it's a small business, I just bought these things, what do you think? And I'm like, can you take them back? Because they bought them at Menards, and there are basically some minimum standards. We're vendor neutral, but there are minimum standards of quality to make people who aren't just buying the cheapest product that's out there, but something that's gonna last. Well, part of that standard for a 4-foot LED tube light is a minimum life of that lamp is 50,000 hours. Well, the one they bought at Menards was 20,000 hours. So I'm like, take them back. And this actually was a small customer, and also in the same town, the village itself. I'm like, take them back, get your rebate. I'll tell you what to buy. It's going to cost you 50 cents more, and it's going to last 2.5 times longer. So those are the kinds of things we do. And then we offer incentives for people who do the qualified upgrades. So as we break this down, so the large commercial and industrial customers, which we call our custom program, everything's really hands-on. So again, whether it's an account manager or what our in-house engineering technical staff, which we call energy consultants, are there to really act as an extension of the utility. So Sean talked about that, hey, our account manager was just at a meeting and so-and-so is saying, hey, they may be leaving, or they might be laying off a bunch of people, or they may be losing a shift. The first thing we do is go back to the city and say, were you aware of this? And very often they are, but sometimes they're not. So we are really there to help that process. Sean talked about like the high bill complaint, and he'll get into a little bit more detail about that. Utility clerks love this program, and so do utility directors, because I usually say, we will give us your most challenging customer. So that person who constantly calls and complains about their high bill, we have ways to work with them. But instead of having that utility clerk have to worry about it, that's our job. So we have people that will walk them through that and give them the right tools and work with them to figure those things out. And the same thing with, everybody has pain in the neck large C&I customers, the ones that are the most demanding, and that's my job. My job is to meet with them, to engage our technical staff, and to help them figure out what their issues are, educate them, and try to make them happy as much as possible. So we do that through a series of different ways. Again, we provide engineering guidance. We also do what we call a technical walkthrough. So it's not a full-blown audit, so people aren't paying for a full-blown audit. A technical walkthrough is our technical staff spending a few hours going through that facility with their staff, identifying what gets used, and then writing up, instead of writing up a 25-page audit report that no one ever looks at, is writing up a 3 or 4 page, this is what we have. Here's what you could replace it with. Here's about what it should cost you. Here's what the payback is. And doing that in kind of a priority order. So it's large manufacturing, you've got compressed air, you may have injection molding machinery, you've got lighting, or all those things. Let's help you figure out so that you can then have a document that you can look at all the time, and then you can work with, and nobody's saying, well, I don't know, because what happens is nobody has time to read an audit. And so we try to make it very practical from that standpoint. Another example of a customer and how we help with this is there was an existing company in Bowling Green that has a plant there. They were actually looking to build a cold storage facility somewhere in northwest Ohio. And so there was competition for it. So as part of the packet, basically, of information that the city provided from the economic development standpoint was Efficiency Smart. So we got involved very early on. We actually reviewed all the drawings, did all those things for them so that when they made their decision, they chose to build in Bowling Green. And what they built was as efficient as it made sense to be, so it lowered their operating costs from day one. So not only have we helped them with their old stuff, we've helped them with the ground up, again, trying to lower people's operating costs. Sue Clark is the executive director for Bowling Green's economic development. Sue does a great job using those codes. I will say that in one of my communities, I came out of a meeting with the biggest customer, and I had the mayor with me and the economic development person. And the economic development person walked over to me and to the mayor and said, "Can we keep this program out of every other community around us? Because I have it and these other AMP members don't." And so, I use it all the time. And so, I, of course, said, "No, I can't do that, but I appreciate it." But to me, it was just one of those glowing things like, that's proof in that we make this, work for them and they know the value of it, those people who are the economic development professionals. So, small business, which we call business energy rebates or BER, again, we try to be very hands-on. The people who are running small businesses, and the line that I use a lot is, their job is to run their business. They don't have time to think about, and they don't necessarily have the resources a big company has to figure out, to get multiple bids, to figure out who they should be talking to know what's the right product. So that's our job. So, we're providing technical information. We're walking them through all those types of things. We're filling out the paperwork for them. The application. We're making sure that we get the documents that we need. But again, we're walking them through the process to make sure that they're taken care of. So an example of this is in Georgetown, one of the local churches didn't have any idea where to start. And so they went to the village engaged us. We went to them and said, "What are you thinking?" And they're like, "Well, we know we should upgrade to LED. We have no idea what to do." And so our technical staff and our account management staff got involved and just started working with them. And again, we did a technical walkthrough in this church and we identified the things that made the most sense. These are the lights that are on the most. So here's where your fastest return is. These are this is a product that is more viable than, like, hey, for this product, wait 2 years because this costs are going to come down. We know that, so you can hold off on that. So we worked with them, walked them through all of that, and they ended up saving a significant amount of money. And they've also engaged us now. They've gone through that, it's a year later, and they're now like, "Hey, we're ready to move on to this next thing. Can you help us?" Because I'm sure, and it's true, that the products have changed, pricing has changed. So what was the right answer for them 12 months ago may not be the right answer for them today. Art Owens is the village administrator down in Georgetown, and this quote just basically talks about that. Like, not everyone knows where to start, so this is what Efficiency Smart does about it.
So, we've quite a few residential programs as well, ways that we reach residential customers. Rather than talk about what all of the programs are, I give some examples as we go, but I thought it'd be good to talk about the sort of general approach we use and strategy that we use to reach it. First of all, we know that customers of all classes have very different kinds of energy efficiency knowledge, right? You've got some early adopters, very tech-savvy folks who want the newest, latest, and greatest. We love talking to those folks. We have folks who've never really thought about their lighting or what impact it would have on their home, and we're happy to help them. Communication channels. People like to learn about information in different ways. Some folks really like to hear information through bill messages and bill inserts. Others, social media. We do paid ads, we do a lot of different traditional media, digital media, and we like to bring it face to face. We'll do some presentations at your local community organizations. We also have community-specific websites. So Painesville would have its own website that would show photos of your town. It would show promotions that are happening here and the programs that are available in your community. So it would not be confused with anyone else's community and what's happening there. We also have a customer support team. There's another channel for folks. So if people want a live human being, they call us. We're going to help them through their questions, challenges, and I sort of, the philosophy we have about that is, always answer the questions. Do what you can. Go above and beyond to help these folks. So you can have some of your, as Tom said, some of the clerks can redirect some calls to us. That's how we work. We do participate in local events if there are events that we can participate in here where we can set up a booth that provides information and energy efficiency kits. We do demonstrations. Those can have some pretty cool results. And we work with some, like I said, we'll do some presentations at local organizations as well. Different customers shop differently. We try to bring a lot of opportunities to local stores here and local vendors as well. But we do have an online product store if that's the way people want to get their products. But it's really about helping folks understand how they use energy and helping them make smart choices. Sometimes that has to do with purchasing a new product. Sometimes it just has to do with a different behavior or a different way of controlling the existing product. How to use your smart thermostat or programmable thermostat. And ultimately, we pre-screen the products to try to help, like Tom said, if the person buys the efficient product, but it burns out soon, or has a funky color, the lighting's blue or super yellow, people dislike the technology. If you didn't have that experience with the CFL, you just didn't buy them, right? We liked them, they were a great option, but now LEDs have come along. And what we know through that experience is there are good CFLs and there are bad CFLs. There are good LEDs and there are not good LEDs. So we like to help people find products so they'll have a good experience with it and they'll want to do more. We don't, so we make sure they're going to have a good experience with the things that we recommend. This is just a quick example. Rhonda actually needed to replace her furnace and AC unit. She heard about us through a vendor. That actually highlights the need that it's really important for us to make good relationships with local vendors. These HVAC vendors, they're going to hear about it from a customer, who's got a desperate situation. Heat's not working in the winter, AC in the summer. They're going to call us first. They're going to call vendors. So we need to have good relationships with them, and they need to know how to work with us. That happened here. So Ron was able to get an energy efficient unit for almost the same price. And then when she had heard about the program through that, the next time she purchased a main, which was her washer and dryer, she came to us first. And now, okay, how do I research the best products? And we were able to be a resource and help her to find the right products and to get money off of that purchase. Now she's saving, in addition to the incentives we gave her, she saves, we calculated about $160 a year on what she bought. I'll let you read her words at your leisure. This is one of the examples of the residential programs we have. It's a really popular one. We call it retail ready markdown. I'm sure that's pretty business jargony, so I'll try to translate what that means. Basically, at no cost to the retailer, we provide a supply of bulbs, of light bulbs, to a local retailer who will in turn sell. And we will tell them, we would like you to sell them for a low price of $1. That way the retailer will pay, they get the $1 for every transaction, no cost out of pocket, and they get foot traffic, additional foot traffic and marketing to come bring more folks to their store. What we get is to bring residents cost effectively bulbs that are, we've already screened them, we already know they're good, we ordered them. We know they're going to be affordable, we price them, and we know they're going to be efficient. And they don't have to fill out a form, and they don't have to send in a coupon or bring in a coupon or anything. It's the simplest process as it can get. So as an example of that, a store in Watson's Hardware, Overland, Ohio, I think we've actually, since we created the slide, have now got over 4,000 bulbs sold. So you can imagine at a limit of 8 bulbs a person, and most people go all the way up to 8. You imagine that's 1,000 people. Just imagine the foot traffic and the additional sales that the hardware store has gotten from people coming just to get those bulbs. So it's, the customers love it, the retailers love it, utilities love it, we love it. It's a great program. So the other thing that was great about this is after having great experiences and collaborating with us and building this partnership, Watson's Hardware has actually changed out all their lighting as well. Store looks great, they're saving energy on their lighting, just as a little side note. So we also are going to, with our program, get into more targeted efforts based on what different communities need. And in some communities, they're going to need to get to reach harder to reach populations, whether those be senior populations, low-income folks, disabled, whatever they may be, that make them harder to reach populations of folks. And we've actually had a lot of success in accessing these populations. Again, we really work through community action agencies. We build partnerships with the people who've already figured out how to do this effectively. With outreach and assistance to seniors, why wouldn't we utilize senior centers that already exist here? We can do presentations through those senior centers. We can do kits, energy efficiency kits, and introduce them to some products and then how to use them. The community action agencies would think food pantries, think like a heat program, Meals on Wheels. These are programs that are great to collaborate with. Again, get some folks some energy efficiency kits, information, and products. It's a good way to start, good way to access folks. It might be harder to reach customers. And we have worked at larger sort of multifamily housing facilities, and we also like to help those facilities, those agencies who do that good work. How can we help them to save on their operating costs, right? Now they can serve more customers. So one of our communities, Hamilton, actually had this distinct, when they signed up, they needed specifically help in low-income communities. They knew costs were rising, they wanted us to help target a huge part of this effort. So we tailored this program. We put a point of emphasis on those communities. So we did it. We used a lot of what I just described to work on that. And again, we did some really cool projects partnering with those organizations who are already in service to those lower income communities. Some good examples here. I won't read the testimonials, but rather give you a little background on what the projects were. So this one is the YWCA. Now, at very little cost to the Y, we replaced all of their lighting. They're now saving $6,700 a year on operating expenses, so all of that money can go back into the community. We also did educational workshops. They had a women in residence program there, and so we did some educational workshops for those folks so that the women could learn how to be more energy efficient and energy conservative with the residences they had at the Y, which saved the Y additional money, as well as then take that knowledge that they learned into their own homes as they moved out. That was a very popular program that we did there. And this was another really cool partnership and a great evidence of what happens when communities really engage and participate in the program. So there's a facility called Serve City. It's a food pantry and homeless shelter. Again, we worked to replace all of their lighting. The program provided all the product, and it was great. A local electrical union volunteered all of their time to do all of the installation. So Serve City was not $1 out of pocket to replace all their lighting. Now they're saving $4,700 a year, which means they can serve at no additional funding 361 residents every year beyond what they were doing. And that's just some of the cool work that we get to do when we engage some of these specific challenges.
So not only is it your residents, your small businesses, and your large commercial industrial businesses that use the services, it's the city. So wastewater, water treatment plants, LED street lighting. We actually put together, in that picture to the right, a few years ago when LED street lighting first came on, we actually put together for the members a street lighting guide. Walked them through what it is, the very basics, and what kind of yield you should see, how many lumens per watt you should get, what you should be paying for that, just to give them as a guideline, so they knew where to start. So again, all those free technical services, if you're thinking about upgrading municipal, and you want to figure that out, again, our guys can come in, do that, write up a report like we would for somebody else, and walk you through that and be able to help you. We identify projects, we review drawings, we review contractor proposals, all those types of things, again, to help you as we would any other customer. And one thing I failed to mention earlier when we talk about, especially with large C&I customers, is I understand, so that you guys may be looking at investing in advanced media or AMI. We love that. It's another great tool for us because we then have 15-minute interval data so that we're able to then work with a customer and that data, help them figure out where their peaks are, to help them lower the transmission, which again helps the utility lower its transmission costs. It's how to, is there a way for them if they're a 3-shift operation? Can we move production on this machine over to 3rd shift and just lower the baseline across the board so that in those peak times in the middle of the afternoon for summer peak, that you're not using as much power as you might be otherwise. Those are just, again, some of the tools that we have the ability to use. And then an example of how we help with the community. So down in Columbiana, they were looking at doing LED street lighting. And they actually had several projects that they wanted to do. They needed a new HVAC unit, they wanted to do LED through all the municipal buildings, all those types of things. So they decided they wanted to do an ESCO project, so an energy service. So basically, you're going to hire a vendor, they're going to come in, they're going to do all this work, you're going to pay it off over 8 years, and basically using the savings to pay off that over 8 years. So we worked with them, we helped them identify some ESCOs, they chose one. As it turned out, they did council didn't like the idea of, paying spreading those payments out. They're like, let's just figure out a way to do this out of the budget. So we worked with them again, so we circled back. We had identified an LED product that they liked. We were able to get them to test several of them to make sure that the line workers liked them, the guys that were actually going to maintain them and install them. So they liked this. We went to the manufacturer and got them approved as somebody who could buy direct, walked them through that, they put it out to bid, we helped them write the RFP, they put it out to bid, they got the one they wanted. They actually then hired them because they realized it was a big investment, because they decided they were going to do all the LEDs, or all the streetlights in town at one time, instead of doing them in 4 sections. So they ended up going to a local electrical contractor and hiring them to do all the labor, which just freed up their own staff to do all the things that line workers have to do in the course of their day. So it made them very happy, and it's saving $54,000 annually that they're not paying, or actually in their case, spreading out over the cost to the rest of the ratepayers. So Lance Willards, the city manager in Columbiana, this quote just talks a little bit about, being a good steward of taxpayer funds, that was their goal, and how we were able to help them do that.
So I'm going to kind of wrap up pretty quickly so we save some time for questions, but I want to go over, before we do that, just some of the different options that are available and how we do the program. So we have 2 different basic approaches to how we do this. We call one our comprehensive programs, and that's where you get a set amount of energy savings for a set price. Those are the 3-year contracts. Get into the details a little bit more about what that means. And then there's what we call a la carte services, which are a specific service for a customer class at a set price. Those are really good. So the comprehensive programs, again, they're going to serve all of your customer classes, residential, commercial, industrial, municipal. You are going to benefit from bundling the services together. You're going to get a lower cost, so it's a more efficient way to get a portfolio of programs. We do have 3 different levels of participation in that, where you can decide how much energy, what level of savings you want, what level of involvement, and obviously there's a price differential between them. All of these come with performance-based savings guarantees. So you will get a guarantee that we will meet X hundred or 1,000 megawatt hours of savings for you in the 3-year term. We don't, you'll be reimbursed. Ultimately, what we do is set a goal, and 70% of that amount is reimbursed. And we don't like to come anywhere close to 70. We tend to exceed 100, and that's the space that we like to play. Again, they're verified by a third party, and again, they can be bid in to the PJM market. And I understand you're teaching the follow-up class on PJM markets. That's what 7:30. The a la carte, not everybody's going to need. Some people already have a residential program, and they just want a commercial and industrial, vice versa. They may not be able to afford one or the other. So there may be different reasons for communities, so we make these options available where it gives communities the ability to select which customer segments to serve and with which programs. We have some, not all, of our programs available, and that actually menu is under discussion right now because we're always trying to improve and refine it with everything that we do. There is the large custom commercial and industrial program is one of our a la carte services. It is the only one that comes, it also comes with that performance-based guarantee. So it would say, you get X hundred megawatt hours, and again, same terms there. Some of these may have a minimum threshold for participation. I'm not concerned Painesville is the size where I think you would exceed that in most cases, but so really, that's the end of the prepared material that we have. Really love to hear either questions from you guys or concerns or challenges that you're wrestling with, things you think we might or might not be able to help with.
I have some things that I would know. So, Rhonda, was there a fee? Well, how did she pay for this service? What did she need to do if I wanted to do something like that? How did that come about for her?
Right, so ultimately, when you contract, if you were to enroll in the program as a community, right, the utility would contract with AMP and pay a fee. Now, it's ultimately up to you guys how you want to, or if you want to charge that out to residents or ratepayers, or if you have other funds you want to use. Different communities have used different approaches. Typically, it comes, it's passed through to the ratepayers. So Rhonda would already be paying a marginal fee for that. She's not paying, none of the customers we've referenced here, once the program fee is paid, everything else is covered under that fee.
And the way I usually say that is, especially the large C&I customers, you're never going to get a bill from Efficiency Smart for anything that we're doing.
Yep.
Again, we're here as a part of the city or the utility. So everything we do, and it is part of the challenge, especially in a new community, to get people to understand the trust that this isn't a scam, that we really are here as an extension, and I'm never going to send you a bill and expect you to pay me $2,000 for a consultant.
There is a too good to be true factor we have to work with.
And does this only work for towns that have their own municipal, or is this something that First Energy customers, like a measure decide they want to do it? How does this work?
So Efficiency Smart is specifically an AMP program. So it's for AMP members who then subscribe to it. First Energy now, again, and so one thing to note is that none of the members that are in Efficiency Smart, none of the AMP members are required through the Public Utility Commission or for any reason to be in this program. So everybody who's in it, it's voluntary. In Ohio, like First Energy now, I would be a First Energy residential customer. First Energy has brought back its programming of the last year and a half. Again, they're not required to do it because the state, the PUC, is frozen all those standards. They offer it because their customers are clamoring for it, and that's really the reason it's offered. So.
And then when you look at page 8, this slide is very confusing to me. So it's got 0 to 25. So is this would we be part of our purchasing power?
Yes.
Okay.
So Efficiency Smart to the market saving energy usage and generating energy looks like the same on the market. It doesn't differentiate between whether it's less usage or you're generating power. So it's actually seen as a piece of our power portfolio.
But we're not gonna get rid of one of our things that we just voted on and say, hey, we don't need these guys.
No.
That's
No, no, no.
that's
Right,
where I'm
so
confused.
typically, so Sean talked about there being the different comprehensive programs. So the one that most communities are in, what we call the high program. So what it is it's a 0.5% load reduction annually in exchange for a certain amount of money based on what your megawatt hour retail sales are for the utility. So you know that over the course of those, we're basically saying, we're gonna get you a 1.5% drop in your load in that, during the term of that contract. So you know, so Monica, Jeff, or you as council members now know, okay, that piece is filled in. We aren't gonna have to go to the market, or we're not gonna have to buy something else because we now know we've got that covered. And even if you're going to the market, we're still cheaper than going to the market.
And one of the added benefits that don't come from a positive power purchase or generation is this peak thing, where you, as a utility, you pay costs for capacity and transmission based on when you sort of peak out. Now, we're going to help kind of bring those costs down, and no other form of really, make sure I'm saying that accurately, are going to reduce those peaks for you. So we're going to actually help you with some of your other costs as well at the same time. So there's a kind of added benefit.
Basically, you guys are paying more and more every year to First Energy for transmission.
Okay. We're going to help you bring that down.
So in order for this program to be successful, you have to have buy-in, right? Because if we pay you a fee and our residents and our commercial and industrial don't use you,
Right.
then we're not gonna have any return. Is creating that buy-in our responsibility, or do you guys have a program of marketing?
So we have full-time in-house marketing people.
Specifically,
It's just Tom. It's
Yeah.
just Tom.
Okay, well, I hope you have a lot
Yes. So yeah, we have marketing, again, Sean mentioned the website, so there's a specific website, so there would be a Painesville that talks about, because not every community necessarily has all the same things, or we might offer, there might be, for whatever reason, a special going on Nest thermostats here, but it doesn't get offered somewhere else for some reason. And so, in those cases, people can always go to there and see exactly what's happening here and what's being offered locally.
If I could,
That's also the reason for the 3-year contract. There's a progression. I mean, we don't come in and say we're going to save a third of the 3-year total in the first year. It takes, you ramp it up. In the second and the third year is where you really get the savings. The first year is about building that trust, about giving them that recognition. And it's a lot of hard work.
And we do, so like in residential, so one of the things I do as an account manager, one of the fair things I like to do is go deal with churches. Because churches are always looking for, first of all, a lot of churches have an old refrigerator they'd like to get rid of it. So one of the things that we have is an appliance recycling. So we'll go pick up that refrigerator, recycle it, and pay them $50. And if they buy the right one to replace it, we're gonna give them another $50. So we're gonna give you $100 towards that next refrigerator. So then just go to the congregation and say, hey, if we chips in $20, we can get this whole thing, and it's gonna save us $20 a year in electric costs based on that old unit that we have. So, and then we also then use that, Tim, or Sean talked about, Tim is one of our,
Thanks for that.
this is gonna come in my review. So, we,
I lost my train of thought. One thing I will say, I'll pick a slightly different train and switch questions here. It's not your responsibility, but we do find that the community is to engage more with us and how social media blasts and all those things, putting flyers up or some of our literature, or helping, some of the clerks helping to really, make their customers aware, directing them to our customer support. We have better results with a more engaged community. We do love that. We don't need it. It is our responsibility, but it is a great
Well, I
partnership.
would add to that, we do this organization as a partner with the local utility. So we co-brand with the local utility, we try to use billing service to the extent we can. We try to use advertising that has the logo of the local utility as much as possible. So we do view you as participants. And the more
And then, and again, one thing we do from that marketing standpoint is what we call a community card, which is just a little 3x5 card that has program information, our phone number, link to the website, and it's specific to that community, and it's for the utility clerk. So when they have that person, so somebody doesn't have to try and remember, hand them the card, you know.
So then two other, I looked at, actually wandered in Oberlin's shop on your page.
Okay.
Just to kind of take a look at like what kind of products are available to them. So obviously those are negotiated prices. How do you, are they only strictly available to individuals who live within Oberlin, and how do you confirm that that's happening?
I assume you're referring to the online product store?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so, what's the first you said?
Basically how they.
How do we know that?
Yeah, but how do you know I'm not going in there and buying for
Address
me to
verification.
compare? Okay.
And, you know, honestly, so we do spend a lot of our time sort of risk mitigating, because it's very important to communities that they pay money, the
Yeah.
benefits they own,
Yeah.
right? And we understand that and appreciate that, and we have some, you know, diligence around that and some risk management. So we're gonna have some address verification there. Is it 100% fraud-proof? No, because the time spent doing so, we take penalties of knowing in our savings and in our costs that 3% of those people are gonna have snuck in the back door, and that's fine, because it's not worth, it would be a more expensive process. So I won't pretend that it's infallible, but we do regulate that, and when we can verify account information, and some of our programs do, to actual specific account information, certainly the larger business ones do, then, yeah, we're all set.
In the same way, so that online, or the retail, where we're selling LEDs, so we're not, as part of the contractual obligation, we're not claiming savings on every bulb that gets sold. First of all, because even if we knew that every one of those people lived here in town, they didn't all go home and race in and screw those in. It just doesn't happen. So we're very conservative in our numbers, and we account for all of that. And again, it's all verified.
Part of my job is to check their numbers every year.
Okay.
So, that 97% realization rate means that my people went in and verified that if they claimed 100 megawatt hours of savings, then 97 megawatt hours were valid, they could keep those.
And then we turn them down, and then we dial it back to 9/7, so only the realized savings get ultimately claimed.
And then the only other question that I had, for things that you negotiate pricing on, does it take into account, like, do you guys take into account the seasonal fluctuations in prices, like I saw Nest. Nest is a big thing right now, and going into automated, certain, like, at home in general. You know, like the Black Friday sale, that suddenly I can get it from some random person for 140, but you offer it for 150. Does that kind of stuff get taken into account?
It does, that's actually pretty cool, they'll notify us, hey, we're gonna run a sale.
Okay.
So we can dial it down, or actually, we partner with a subcontractor firm to run the online store, they notify that.
Okay.
It automatically happens so that it's 25 or 50 or whatever dollars off of that price,
Nice.
whatever the market is doing. And when you have a rebate you do, obviously it's just $50 off, it doesn't matter off what, right? And then, you know, seasonality of bulb prices, those things are a little harder to gauge. We try to stay far enough away from the market price that if it goes from $2.50 to $3.25, $1 is still an awesome deal, right?
Okay.
It's not gonna be perfect in that regard, but yeah, when it's a little bigger ticket item,
Yeah,
we do vary.
and that's a big item right now.
If we went with the comprehensive plan, what would the first 30 or 60 days look like?
So, yeah, that's a good question. I actually had, we need to start bringing my rollout schedule. But so we've thrown out a kind of rollout schedule. And what, you know, when Tom mentioned, it takes some time to build relationships. We're looking to really generate influence, really looking to build networks of people. But, you know, right away, account managers will start visiting with technical consultants to build up like the business relationship. We'll start doing press releases. We'll get a website up for you. They'll be co-branded. Some of this will depend on like how quickly Monica gets us information back, of course, but.
And we actually just, before that actually happens, we actually have a community survey that we send out to a new community, so that even before we get to that start date, we have that information. What's the local paper you want stuff published in? You know,
Who are your top 10 companies?
Right, who are your customers, who are the contacts? Do you know, how involved do you want to be? Do you want somebody from the city at every meeting?
We really have to take Jeff with us. Is that true? He said it.
All those things, you know, who are the local churches?
You have to
Who are
buy
the
one.
local, you know, organizations organizations we can partner with. So we were actually starting to reach out to those people before we even actually hit that point.
Can you set up a timetable of weekly meetings with, like city manager and our finance people and
So,
department heads, or how do
We
you
can
work?
do some early introductory meetings for whatever stakeholder groups are helpful, absolutely. Then the ongoing sort of thing would be, Tom would meet with Monica and whomever else she invites to the table, and, we'll keep,
And it's speaking of chamber groups or
Yeah.
Kiwanis or all those different things, anything that we can take the existing stuff that exists here in town and use it to get the word out, that's what we're doing.
You talked about a customer support team.
Yep.
What does that look like?
It's
Who's
people,
on it?
people manning the phones in our offices. It's just that fancy. It's the phone service line so that, and we have inbound email as well, so if people prefer to email their questions. They can call folks. One of our primary people who's been here just celebrated her 8th anniversary, so she precedes the program launching. It's a woman named Angie, and Angie is a great resource for people, whether they're the clerks calling, whether they're the residents calling. Hey, what kind of products qualify for this rebate? What stores do your lighting mark down? How do I get to this online store? I'm confused. So it's just folks on the phone ready to answer any and all questions.
Approximately how many customers do you have?
Like residents?
No, the communities like us is working.
I think we have 26 communities right now.
And how many,
26, yes.
how many employees do you have?
Well, we have 15 in the team in Ohio.
Okay.
We are backed up by a data team in Vermont that does some of the data service, the database folks, 350. But the immediate team here is about 15.
And then we're also backed up with engineering in Vermont and in DC.
Okay.
So like we just tapped out one for Oberlin College, which was actually not something that Efficiency Smart, it wasn't an electrical project. But they're looking at something that's really cool, cutting edge as part of their net zero goals for the college. And so they just wanted us to backstop the numbers they were getting from the people trying to sell the project. And so we didn't have that expertise in our engineering staff in Ohio because it was a really interesting project, but not something we do every day. But there were people in Vermont who deal in gas savings every day. We sent it to them and they were able to do the analysis for them about a week.
So when you build your website, how many IT people do you have?
That's a great question. They keep that a secret.
Their budget just goes out.
It's a mix of IT and marketing folks, right? So I would say there's probably 6-ish people directly working into and we've got a couple folks in the office in Columbus, but we've got some other marketing and IT folks back in Vermont. So they tend to not let me see behind that curtain, but I can find out if it's in the
No,
We have subcontracted as needed as well in the past. We haven't had to do that recent years.
Try it out.
And in terms of security, if you're, collecting residential information and things like that, how's that?
Yeah, so confidentiality, the data security is massive to us. Obviously, we know to the information that your utility will share with us, we have to be very vigilant stewards of that. We maintain a confidential, it's called SIMS, Confidential Information Management System. Again, if you were to sign up, we can send this to you ahead of time if you'd like. For consideration, there's a whole explanation of what's involved, how we protect the information, what our standards are, ways that, and in fact, we actually sometimes, it could be that, Monica might ask, hey, I need the name of these 10 companies, and we actually need her to sign off and say, you release us to give you that information because we're that strict in we understand just how critical that is. And in terms of like the IT infrastructure and protection, we have multiple people whose jobs are dedicated entirely to that.
And I can tell you from a practical standpoint, as somebody who works from home, 2 hours away from our office and travels a lot, that if I'm trying to access my email and I'm not logged into our system at home, I've got to jump through a bunch of hoops, including emailing, basically going to my cell phone and entering a code so that I can access our system. So
It's like logging
it's a real pain. A lot of times.
All customer information, unless you as the participant signs off and says you want it identified, is not identified.
Okay.
Those quotes that were up there earlier,
Uh-huh.
we got specific permission from those individuals to use those. That wasn't us just throwing them up there because we liked them.
And Rhonda even let us use her last name, but we weren't. We tried to do that. We tried to-
One last question. Are you guys involved in any lawsuits right now?
Never had a lawsuit.
Okay.
I just have one question. You had talked about Bowling Green and them having a company that was looking to expand and create a cold storage facility. If our economic development or development director contacted you guys and said, hey, we were looking to contact and bring in this specific industrial company or this specific retail store, these developers, is there any way that you could kind of sit down with her and help her kind of
Absolutely.
build an
And
arsenal?
one
kind of
thing that we
thing?
know from that is that there's all levels of confidentiality. Usually when your economic development people are doing these things, whether it's through Jobs Ohio or something else, that there's all sorts of confidentiality agreements that are signed, and we've had to sign those before. We've had to sign them with large industrial customers who are worried about us being in a plant, and it's just their standard operating procedure. So yeah, we work with that with Main Street groups, all those types of things.
So not just retaining business or.
No, absolutely.
But actually going out and if
Yes, yeah.
she or they need help, you can kind of help
Yes.
us.
And strategically, we love that.
Yeah.
The earlier we can get involved, the better. The more often we get involved, the more we try to be, at the end of the day, we would love to have a seat at the table. You know, whether that's with the companies, whether that's with your team, I mean, that's how we do our work the best. That's the best way we can optimize what we do and minimize sort of lost opportunities for improvement.
I got a question for Monica. I know in the past we had a contract with Johnson Controls for their efficiency program. What is the status on it?
I actually don't know the status on that contract. I know that we have the controls in a couple of our facilities, but I don't know the status of the contract.
This wouldn't affect Johnson Controls?
No, this would have no interference with that.
Okay.
And in fact, ones that roll out of our current facilities, then we could jump over and use efficiency smart.
Okay.
Yeah, usually those.
You also can use us to hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah, which we might need.
Usually those contracts are for a set number of improvements at a set price. There could be additional improvements since the time they put those in. These guys can work with you immediately on those.
Yes.
They can help you make sure that you're getting what you paid for the first set of projects. It's the people to the fire kind of thing. We've done quite a bit of that.
I'd like to open this up to the public.
Yes, yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna ask what the cost is to the city for this program.
So, you can get a ballpark. So currently, so when the program started in the first contract, it was $1.50 a megawatt hour of your retail sales from the back a year, right? That's how that works. So after the first contract, that number dropped to $1.40. So for the second and third contract, it's $1. It was $1.40 a megawatt hour. The pricing is not set for the next contract, but based on the numbers that you guys had, it's, yeah, so 2015 numbers, annual cost at $1.40 is about $318,000. And just so you know, so based on that, the levelized cost ends up being so what the cost of power is, ends up being $23.70 a megawatt hour. You're talking about, the goal then would be to save a little over 3,400 megawatt hours over the course of the 3-year contract. That's what that 0.5% a year works out to. The lifetime benefit to the customer, to the ratepayer, would be expected to be just slightly over $2.5 million, based on that.
Now, I would point out too, that's just for one option. That's the high performance comprehensive option. There's a basic comprehensive, there's also an enhanced, there's also just the custom C&I option. All of those have different costs. So it's basically what you want. That's why Sean was saying earlier, it's what you feel your needs are. How do we address those? How do we serve those?
So is that 318,000
Per year, yeah. So you ended up paying about $950 into the program.
for 3 years?
Over 3 years for that, like I said, $2.5 million benefit.
And I'm sure, have we done any estimates on what, if we were passing this on to our ratepayers, this cost, what it would cost our ratepayers?
We haven't gone any further. This is the baseline
Yeah.
beginning conversation.
Historically, if you passed it through your purchase cost adjustment to a ratepayer that used about 1,000 kilowatt hours a year, it's 1,000 times 0.14. It's like $1.40 a month.
It's less than that for residential.
It adds up to be about $15 a year for residential.
Yeah, since I don't know what the rates are, but for a lot of communities now, like for a residential customer, somebody who takes advantage of the LED market and buys 3 LEDs and installs them will pay what they're gonna pay for the program in their electric bill, not only for that contract, but they're gonna pay for it for about 8 years, because that's the expected life of that LED bulb.
Now, if you think about it from a business perspective, if you use 500 megawatt hours a year, at about 40 megawatt hour, that's a little over $700. And you can more than make that up just using the key account and the engineering services fairly easily in one project.
And when Tom said the prices for the next contract period are not yet finalized, he also meant, another way of saying that is if you get in 2019, you can get in for the low price. It's just a different way of saying the same thing.
If you get a second one, you get 3. Is that, so is that, just, this is kind of goofy, but let's say we had a 318,000, which is probably a little over 27,000 a month. Do we pay on a monthly basis?
You're billed on a monthly basis through your purchase cost adjustment. And as
Okay.
John noted earlier, you decide how you want to pass that through your customers. It's a line item on your power supply bill.
And the way, it just to get into the details, the way AMP works that actually is, let's say you joined January 1, 2020. Your first bill from AMP would be on your March power supply bill. So there's a lag there.
That's what I was
Any other questions
thinking
or
along the same
comments
lines.
from council? I'd like to open up to the public. Right.
So this is a city contract with this company, is what I'm hearing. Plus, they're acting as an outsourced front door for Painesville Electric, providing engineering-based services, consulting services, and enhanced purchasing capabilities for services for Painesville residents. Is that, what you're doing? You're consulting, like these lights here. You would say, you can save money by changing out these bulbs.
Correct.
And as a resident, you come to me and you say, well, Ray, change out your bulbs, wash your clothes at night. Here's an energy, look at your home in terms of how you can save. And here's some products and services you can use based on your website that you can purchase.
Right, but keep in mind that while the online product store is there for residential customers, again, as much as possible, or if you're a C&I customer, whatever, doing these lights, we want them to buy them locally. We don't sell anything. We are vendor neutral. We
You're
are
the
not.
engineering consultant, you make a recommendation as to what products to purchase, and where you might purchase them, not necessarily a specific vendor.
Right, but we also provide financial incentives as well.
So our primarily we traffic and information. Secondarily, to back that up, we provide money to help move whatever that information is happening.
And the net result will be a reduced energy usage for the city, lowering overall city costs.
That's right.
Which always feeds back to.
Can we bring you to future presentations?
No, I'm just a dumb old resident.
No, that was a great simplification.
Yeah, teacher.
Is there any questions?
With your present crew of 15, to handle all the hire of the 26 accounts, does your business model provide to accept us as a new client?
Absolutely.
Without hiring a whole bunch of people who've never done it?
And I mean, to be honest, it may require hiring one person, but no, it won't cause an overhaul, We're used to these flex things, there's a lot of benefit and scale in what we do. And so actually, we're well suited to handle that, we're well suited to sort of, to grow and I'll tell you this, right now, we do not struggle to serve our clients. We're not resource constrained to serve our clients. we actually, if anything, there's a ton of demand out there. We love to go serve it, and the challenge is, of course, if you guys pay for 3,000 odd megawatt hours, right? 3,400, okay, we might have so much demand from services that we can produce 5,000. We have to figure out how to balance all of that, right? So,
Yes.
We have a power plant here, does that affect the picture at all?
it affects your picture in terms of the power portfolio, right? But again, what we're talking about is providing 0.5% of your power needs a year. It's a high performance program. So you still need to cover the other 99.5. So I'm guessing that works with you, right?
Sure, if it's right, it's in addition to what else we can do. In many cases, we just offset your growth. We don't attack your base sales, your base revenue stays pretty much the same.
Yes.
Does it lower it?
We got a question from our council.
I have just one more, and this might be for you, and Monica more so than our guests. So we previously had our electric department trained to do energy audits, and they actually did one for my house. It's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that we actually stopped doing that because there was a lack of demand for that.
That would not surprise me.
So
Yeah,
then,
it died off, and then the certification for our people passed. also.
yeah, and we didn't renew it, yeah. Because I was the first house they did, and I was very grateful for that. So, I guess if we had a difficult time engaging our people in that, explain to me kind of why this is easier.
So first of all, we're not doing home energy audits.
Yeah.
So, but one of the hardest things for any program, whether it's a municipal program or an industrial utility program, is getting in the door and getting people.
Absolutely.
So in Oberlin, they actually have a full-time person who works for a local social service group. And his job is to go door to door throughout the city and knock on every door, and he's an expert on the Oberlin electric program. He knows what we offer. He knows what Columbia Gas offers. He knows what for people who qualify for low income, he knows all of those things. We actually provide him LEDs to distribute. City of Oberlin actually pays an additional rebate because they just have money that they don't know what to do with. And even with that, he doesn't get people who want a home energy audit. Because home energy audits are completely different because nobody wants a stranger in their house.
There were four.
Yeah, right. So you got a whole door test and all those things. First of all, for that, you have to take off work.
Yeah.
You gotta be home in the middle of the day. It takes anywhere from 2 to 5 hours, depending on how the level that people just don't have that time.
So then what data are you using when you're advising them how to upgrade their home in a way that's going to be more efficient? If you're not physically seeing what is going on there?
It's standard things. It's, washers and dryers. It's lighting. It's furnace.
It's like, I would characterize it as the law of averages, right? So there's going to be, here are the top 3 upgrades most residents could do. But if you already have LEDs, you could ignore that, right? I mean, that's how it works. And if your clothes washer or dryer is 3 years old, please don't replace it in the name of energy efficiency. That's a waste of money. So, those sorts of things. What we do, like in that high bill call service that we have, we actually go through with people and say, do you do this? Do you own that? How old is this? That, once we have some data, so if somebody calls us with a specific question, my furnace is 18 years old, it's starting to die, there's an air conditioner, okay, cool, now we have some information to work with, and we can respond to that specific scenario. But generally, we know, here are some really good things that people should do when we try to push on that.
The last part of my question is, do they have access to an individual's energy usage, or are they coming to us for that data?
So part of the contract is you supply us, it's essentially anonymized data. So you're giving us utility data for all of them, and it's not what they pay, it's just usage. They use this many kWh this month, and we have that too. So partly so that when we get the call, we know this, we can look them up and go, because it'll be in our system, this person actually is a painful resident.
So the data we have is what you guys give us. So just to
We
be,
actually get to choose the level of data.
So I mean, it could be just an address with the kilowatt usage, it doesn't have to be the person's name, it doesn't have to.
Right, and very often in residential, that name changes anyway.
that'll drive our IT people a little bad, which is fine.
Yeah.
We do love the names, because being able to attach it,
Yeah.
just to understand.
But I mean, we're not necessarily giving you guys carte blanche access to our
No,
software.
and, no, and-
We're sending you that data on a monthly, quarterly basis, whatever that
That's
looks like.
the side or something, and basically, the other thing we want to be able to do, we need some mechanism, is, okay, hey, I got a call from a woman in Monica Island, is she an actual resident who
Yeah.
has an account?
Association
If you don't give me that list, I'm calling your clerk so long.
Yeah, okay.
So, there's.
No, but I just wanted to, it's like a delimited CSV file or something, but obviously more technical than that, but it's not literally just like, hey guys, here's the login.
Right. Right.
Is there only phone calls, or is there online chatting and all that
We
stuff?
haven't, there are email functionality, we haven't, online chatting is a functionality we considered. We haven't yet implemented it. Honestly, across the span of some of our communities, the demand for that service has been low. It wouldn't be in all of them, but sort of, again, we're managing, trying to be good stewards of the money and we have to look at most cost effective. That's something we'll consider over the next year or two as well, and to see what we can implement. We don't currently have.
Rick?
One more question. Who do you view as your competitors in this arena?
Well,
You're a national and international firm, right? Who are your,
Well, in terms of the municipal joint action agencies, I don't think we have.
yeah, the consulting services that you would provide to this utility? Do you have any other competitors?
So there are large companies out there who run First Energy's program for them, or run AEP's program, or Dave Power and Light. So those companies exist. They take a completely different approach. So we're so hands-on. There currently isn't. There used to be another company that was very hands-on the way we are, and that company 5 years ago by one of the big guys. So those companies run they're really rebate processors.
Okay.
So there's companies called the Clear Result and Ecoval. We try not to think of them as our peers, but they might be our competitors.
Yeah, that's where I was.
In terms of
So Clear Result runs AEP's program for them.
In terms of delivering to a municipal program, the problem is they won't, because you need to basically bundle them together and have the scale of many municipals participating together to have a really robust program. If only one or two municipals were interested, you'd have a very bare bones program. It's just.
And their business model is, let's run TV ads, let's run radio ads, let's run print ads, because we're covering a third of the state of Ohio.
They don't
They don't care if we don't show up, okay? And they won't guarantee that they're gonna get a certain level of savings. We would.
Can I get a motion to, unless Jim, you had another question?
Nope,
Okay.
just want to get in.
All right. Can I get a motion to
I'll make a
adjourn
motion
for
to-
public?
Second.
Got it.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mrs. Denala, Yes. Mrs. Jenkins,
Yes.
Mr. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Fodor,
Yes.
Mrs. Shu,
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes, public meeting closed.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks, gentlemen, appreciate it greatly.